Okay, in the last lecture we have considered the case of heat transfer, and we have looked at what kind of equations would represent a flow with heat transfer, that is including the velocity, pressure and temperature. We derived a set of equations which are summarized here, the governing equations for incompressible constant property flow with heat transfer. We have a continuity equation and a momentum conservation equation, the 3 momentum in the 3 direction, and then we have an energy conservation equation in which through which temperature is brought out as a field variable. So the set of these 5 equations together have as variables the 3 velocity components UVP, UVW, the pressure and the temperature as a set of 5 variables. And the solution of all these things requires certain material properties which include the density, the viscosity, kinematic viscosity, thermal conductivity and the specific heat constant pressure. So with these things it is possible to write down the set of governing equations, and we considered how these governing equations could represent the case of convective and conductive heat transfer that we know of, without having to specify any heat transfer coefficient. In the case of radiative heat transfer, of course we have seen that we need to do a lot more work in order to get a proper description of radiative heat transfer, and that radiative heat transfer is not included in the set of equations which we have just now seen. In today's lecture we are going to do something similar for mass transfer. If you have a flow with mass transfer, then what are the equations that will describe this? So we are going to look at mass transfer applications, and we will try to structure it in a proper way so as to understand it in the short amount of time that is available for us. So we are going to look at the overview. We will take an overview of the approach to mass transfer within the framework of CFD. We have seen that within the framework of CFD, heat transfer requires in a certain way, is done in certain way. So how do we do mass transfer in this? And as part of this we will be deriving the species balance equation, a mass conservation equation of species, and then we will also derive the conservation equations of momentum and energy for mixtures, because mass transfer requires us to have at least 2 species, so that one species is going from one part of the fluid domain to another part of the fluid domain, so that there is mass transfer between across gradients and all that. So that requires us to identify species, and so we are considering the fluid now to be a mixture of different species. And the approach that we have in CFD is that we have separately species balance equations, and we also have a mixture balance equations. So those corresponding equations are what we are going to derive in the rest of the lecture. The approach is summarized in this slide. We assume the fluid to be a mixture of various species, and we take account of the concentration of individual species and components. For this we solve the balance equation, a species balance equation, and we define mixture properties based on individual species concentrations, and we solve the momentum and energy conservation equations for the mixture rather than for the individual species. If we do that, then we have too many variables and it is not worth all the trouble. It is possible to make some simplifying assumptions which can be restrictive in certain cases. It is possible to make those kind of assumptions and reduce the complexity of the problem and bring it into a mixture momentum balance equation and a mixture energy balance equation, but a species mass balance equation. So with this kind of formulation it is possible to tackle mass transfer with and without chemical reaction. And the effect of the chemical reactions can be incorporated. In the case of homogeneous reactions, these enter into the overall calculation scheme in the form of either a source term or a sink term of the species balance equation. So, there is a certain rate of generation or rate of destruction of a species because of chemical reactions. We are not considering nuclear reactions, therefore, there is no destruction or generation of species from that. But a chemical reaction can change the species, although the elemental balance always has to be satisfied. So, what we are looking at is the species balance equation and not the elemental balance equation, and that is something that we would like to highlight as part of the derivation here. In the case of heterogeneous reactions involving two different species, heterogeneous reaction between a solid and a fluid phase is obviously coming as a boundary condition, because we don't we are looking at fluid mechanics. So, the solid is a boundary, and so any reaction between the solid and the fluid here may come in as a boundary condition in case the solid species is on the walls of that particular fluid domain. If it is somewhere inside finely dispersed, then it may come as a homogeneous source term. And in the case of gas liquid or gas solid, liquid solid, gas solid liquid systems which are finely dispersed throughout, where you do not have a clear separation of the domains, then we have to do multi-phase flow modeling, which is beyond the scope of this particular course. So, we are looking at, this is the overall approach. So, when we want to deal with mass transfer, we have to do much more than the simple Navier-Stokes equations. We need to have species balance equations, we need to have mixture balance equations, and we need to have mixture momentum and energy balance equations, and then we need to have a framework for dealing with chemical reactions. So, we will do these things step by step. So, we have already created a template for a conservation equation for deriving the corresponding conservation equation, and for example, for the mass conservation equation for a fluid, we considered a control volume, and then we stated that the rate of accumulation mass within that control volume, in the absence of any sources or sinks, is given by the difference between the rate at which it is entering and rate at which it is leaving. Here we can do something similar for a species conservation equation. We take our magical cubical box having delta x in the x direction and having a height of delta y in the y direction and a depth of delta z in the z direction here, with an origin which is located right there, which is x y z. So, that this point is x plus delta x y z, and this point is x plus delta x y plus delta y z, and this point here is x plus delta x y plus delta y z plus delta z. So, that way we can identify all the 8 vertices of this box and we can work with that. So, here we are making a statement of the species conservation equation verbally, like rate of accumulation of mass of species A in the CV, in the control volume, is equal to rate at which the species A enters the control volume minus the rate at which it leaves the control volume plus rate of production by homogeneous chemical reactions inside the control volume. Okay. So, we can consider that throughout this we note that this particular volume is an infinitesimal control volume in the fluid continuum, and we are saying that this fluid continuum contains species A in a certain concentration, and because of its concentration and because of the presence of other species, species A can be either produced or destroyed, used up because of chemical reaction, and this chemical reaction is happening in the as a homogeneous chemical reaction, that is in the same phase, either within the liquid or within the gas, within the fluid that we are considering here, and it is happening everywhere. So, that rate of production is what is considered here. In the case of destruction, this term will be negative, and why we put plus here, because in the absence of these rates at which it's entering and this thing, production of the species will lead to accumulation. So the left hand side is balanced by a positive value here as a production term. So rate of accumulation of mass of species A in the CV is equal to rate of production by chemical reaction, homogeneous chemical reaction within the CV, plus the net amount of species advected by the process of inflowing fluid and outgoing fluid. Okay. So now let us define, just like we have done for a fluid, let us define a species density rho A in terms of kilogram per meter cubed, and we can also define a velocity u, here it is a vector of species A, and therefore we can consider the flow rate of species A through a particular phase can be rho A times UA dotted with the area vector of that particular surface. And we also keep in mind that we have chosen the surfaces of this cubical box to be aligned in the coordinate directions. So with all those kind of by now familiar things, we can write the rate of accumulation of species within the control volume as the density times volume, which will give you the total mass of species A within the control volume, and variation with respect to time dou by dt of that will give us the rate of accumulation of mass of species within the control volume, which is the left hand side of this. And the mass flow rate in is what is coming in through the left face, through the bottom face and through the back face, and in each case we multiply rho times the velocity component perpendicular to that particular surface times the area of that particular face. For example, if you take the left face, the area of that face is delta y times delta z, and the density is rho A at x and UA at x, because this whole face is located at x. Similarly, through the back face, the flow rate is given by W times the area of that particular face. So WA, the velocity of species A, the W component, times the area delta x delta z times rho A here, and all these things are evaluated at the midpoint of the corresponding faces. And we note that the variables may have different values at the midpoints of different faces. So for example, rho A can be one value here, another value here, and another value at the back face, another value at the bottom face, all that. And similarly U, V, W can also change at every point within this, and specifically at the centers of each of these faces. So all the quantities here, all the variable values here are always evaluated at the centers of the corresponding faces here. So with that thing we can say that we know how to evaluate the rate of accumulation term, we know how to evaluate the rate of entry, rate of inflow and rate of outflow. Now the rate of reaction, for the moment we are calling it as RA as per the chemical engineering practice. So this is rate of production by homogeneous reaction. Why we are calling it as homogeneous reaction is that this is a production term per meter cubed, and it is kilogram per second per meter cubed of this particular quantity of species A is being produced, and if you multiply this by the volume, then it will give you the kilograms per second. So that is rate of production of the species in the control volume. So this is a volumetric generation term is what is mentioned here. So this is what will be coming out on this side here, because this is rate of production times the volume delta x delta y delta z will give us the kilograms per second of production of species A in the entire control volume, and to that extent we put this as a volumetric source term here. So we add all the terms as usual and then divide by the product of the volume delta x delta y delta z, and take the limit as delta x tends to 0, delta y tends to 0 and delta z tends to 0, and then we have an equation here which is very similar to what we have for the mass conservation equation that we had earlier, except that we have the subscript A denoting that this is applicable for species A only, and even the velocity components are for the species A only, and this is a summation over the 3 quantities, so that you have dou by dou x of rho u plus dou by dou y of rho v plus dou by dou z of rho w, that is there. And on the right hand side we have the volumetric source term here. Okay. So this can also be put in the vectorial form like this. So this is very similar to the mass balance equation that we had earlier, but in this particular case this is only for a particular species of the entire mixture, and the species can be produced or destroyed by a chemical reaction, and to allow for that possibility we are creating this rate of generation term here. In the absence of chemical reactions this will be 0 and we will have just this. Okay. But and this is a species conservation equation. We can go back, just like we have derived the mass conservation equation, we can also derive the species momentum conservation equation and species energy conservation equation. So if we do that, then for each species we will have a mass conservation equation, 3 momentum conservation equation, 1 energy conservation equation, like that, and that becomes a very tedious and very large set of equations when you consider large number of species, and number of species can be quite high in certain cases. For example, in combustion people are dealing with tens and even hundreds of species. Okay. So in that case the number of equations becomes very complicated, complicatedly large. So what we would like to do is to work with the entire continuum and which is essentially a mixture of different species, and we define the mixture properties in the following way. So the mass density of mixture rho is given by sum over all the phases, all the species, rho alpha. So rho alpha is the mass density of species A, species alpha, and when summed over all the species, that will give us the density here. So now you can define the mass fraction y of alpha, species alpha, is given by rho of alpha divided by rho. This is the mass fraction, not the mole fraction. If you know the molecular weights and all that thing, it is possible to come out with a mole fraction also. It is not a difficult thing to do. Right now we do not need it. Similarly, the mass velocity of mixture, which we are calling as u here without any subscript, whereas here we have a subscript A, we have a subscript A here. So without any subscript we can define this as sum over all species of rho alpha u alpha divided by the mass density will give us the mass velocity. So rho times u is the total flow rate flux of that particular mixture, and that is equal to sum of the individual fluxes. So there is nothing complicated about it, it is pretty obvious definitions. And in order to get the an expression which is more convenient, we do some algebraic manipulations, mathematical manipulations. So we add this del dot rho A times u, where u here is now the value of the mixture property, not of the individual property, and so we have this plus this equal to Ra as the original equation. So we add and subtract this quantity on both sides, and then we can keep this here and then take it on to the other side, and we have del dot rho A u and we have del dot rho A u A. So we can write this thing as del dot rho A times u minus u A when you take it to the right hand side. So this whole equation here, the original equation to which we have added and subtracted this thing, can be written in this particular form, where dou by dou t of rho a plus del dot rho a times u, this is the mixture velocity, equal to minus del dot J A, this is the flux of that particular species, plus the rate of production term here, and the flux here J A is given as rho a times u a minus u, which is the mixture velocity here. Now this flux here can be modeled using Fick's law of diffusion, and so this is given as minus diffusivity of A times gradient of the mass fraction here. So we have to be careful about the units of this. There are different ways of formulation of Fick's law of diffusion in terms of molecular mole fractions and mass fractions and all that. We have to make sure that that definition is correct, and once you substitute this into this, we have an equation which involves rho by rho a and all these things here, and so this is the conservation equation for species A, and if you write down for all the species and then you add up all of them, then for example you get dou by dou t of rho a plus rho b plus rho c of all of them, and all the rows summed up together will give you rho, and similarly all of this will give you rho here. So you get this, and the formulation of the diffusive term, diffusive fluxes and the production terms here is such that they will all add up to 0, because if A is being consumed in a particular reaction, then it is being some other species is produced, and this all happening within the liquid, the fluid continuum. So there are some rates which are positive and some rates are negative for a different species. So when you add up all of them on a mass basis, this goes to 0, and similarly sum over all the species of the diffusion thing will also become 0, so that we recover the mixture continuity equation as this. Okay, so we have a species balance equation which is written in the form of involving the mass fraction of species, and if you divide this whole thing by rho here, you get rho a by a, which is y a here. So you have y a here and you have y a here, and so this whole species conservation equation can be represented in terms of a new variable which is the mass fraction of species A, and the rate of production of term is also divided by the mixture density, and so that will give you the this will be slightly different. Okay, so the overall mixture equations can now be represented like this: mixture continuity equation, mixture momentum equation will be very similar to what we have earlier, and then mixture energy equation will have the usual term here, and then the advection term, the conduction term, heat conduction term, the viscous dissipation term. But there is also an extra term which is arising from the fact that the reactions that are happening inside the liquid, inside the fluid continuum, can be as a whole, they can be exothermic or endothermic. So depending on the progress of that particular reaction, there is a corresponding heat generation. So this is the heat of reaction. This needs to be properly evaluated, and this becomes an extra equation for our energy equation. So the mixture equations, to summarize, are for every species you have an extra equation here. So if you have 3 species, you have 3 species balance equations. Now when you add up all the 3 species balance equations, you get the mixture continuity equation. So you either have 3 equations here and no equation here, or you can have 2 species balance equation and 1 mixture continuity equation. So together the species mass balance and mixture mass balance equations will constitute number of equations which is equal to the total number of species, and then we have 1 mixture momentum equation which is like the same thing, except that you now have mixture velocity and you have mixture density here and mixture viscosity, and those properties are based on the mass fractions or mole fractions of those individual species. And then you have mixture density, mixture specific heat and thermal conductivity here, and together you have an overall source term coming, which is essentially the heat of reaction of that particular overall set of reaction scheme. Okay. So, this is the mixture equations, and in the absence of chemical reactions, these RAs and QRs will be 0, and if you have a mass transfer with dissolution and that dissolution is exothermic endothermic, you can still have this, and you can see a role for mass transfer. Mass transfer will change the mass fraction, you can have mass fraction gradients, and that is what is being resolved by solving this equation. So, this scheme here can give rise to concentration gradients, can be used to evaluate concentration gradients, and along with the concentration gradients, just as we have temperature gradients leading to heat transfer, convective, conductive heat transfer, you also have here both the convective effect and the conductive effect of the mass transfer is captured in this set of equations through the introduction of a new variable, which is the mass fraction of the species, and the number of additional equations depends on the number of species that are present. If there are ns number of species, the number of additional equations that come up is ns minus 1, because we already have the continuity equation that is accounted for, and then we also have this QR here. Now, we still need to specify what this rate of reaction is. Okay. So, when we consider chemical reaction applications, we need to have following additional things. We need to have a generalized chemical reaction scheme, the reaction kinetics, the reaction rate, which may be determined in cases by turbulent micromixing and other cases by laminar diffusion of species, and we will then look at the overall set of equations to be solved for flows with chemical reaction included. Okay. So, when you are looking at flows with chemical reaction, the reaction mechanisms and kinetics of the information must be known. These are part of the input. CFD cannot tell you what is the reaction mechanism. Okay. If you know the mechanism, then it may say, okay, because of the prevailing temperatures, this may be the rate of reaction as per this Arrhenius rate of reaction and all those kind of things. So, there is a framework that is needed to specify and include all these reactions. So, there is a framework of calculation which that is present, and that we are going to see, which exists to couple this chemical reaction scheme with the fluid flow and heat transfer and mass transfer effects, all of which come into the overall rate of reaction. And this particular framework here assumes that we are dealing with a mixture. Okay. So, all reactions and products are treated as constants of a mixture, and consider a set of NR reactions involving NS species denoted by Xi here, and you have a stoichiometry of these each reaction scheme within the set of reaction scheme is specified here. For example, you have species 1 and species 2 and all these species are participating with this stoichiometric coefficients in this reaction 1. Okay. For so you have species number and reaction number. Okay. So, and you have reactant on the reactant side here, and then you have the product side. So, there is a typo here, this is reactant 2 R2. Okay. So, you have j number of these equations, okay, representing j reactions which are here, and there are ns number of species x1, x2, xns like this. It is not necessary that all the species participate in all the reactions, and it is not necessary that there are certain reactants and there are certain products. Sometimes the same species may appear as a product and sometimes it may appear as a reactant, and this kind of a generalized scheme is what we start out with. And The rates of reaction of each of these are specified. For example, in the case of rate controlling reaction in the form of a forward reaction rate and a backward reaction rate and concentrations and exponents here. So, expressing the order of the reaction. So, we can have either this type of chemical kinetics controlled reaction, or we can also have a turbulence dominated kind of thing, which we are not going to discuss here. So, this is a general framework for expression of the reaction here in terms of specified orders of the reaction, concentration of the reactants and products, and forward and backward reaction rates. And these reaction rates are expressed in terms of an Arrhenius coefficients in terms of activation energy, and then temperature exponent and a pre-exponential factor. All these things must be given. Okay, the entire reaction scheme must be known, the stoichiometric coefficients must be known, the orders of the reaction must be known, and the rate constants, the exponential factors, and all these things must be known. If you know all these things, then as part of the calculation scheme of the equations that we have already discussed, we know at every point what is the concentration of that particular species. So, then we can substitute those things and get the rate of reaction, and from this rate of reaction we can evaluate the overall heat source that is coming out for each reaction times the delta H of that heat of reaction of that particular reaction, and summed over all the reactions will give us the total rate of heat generation from set of all these reactions. So, having got the reaction kinetics information, we solve additional NS minus 1 species conservation equations. Here we have expressed the species balance equation in terms of the mass fraction of species I here, the advection term, the diffusion term, and the source term, which is in terms of the molecular weights and the reaction rates of the Jth reaction, and the stoichiometric coefficients of the individual reactant species as a reactant and as a product. So, all these things will give us the overall species conservation equation. The momentum conservation equations, they do not change except for the properties, which are now functions of the concentration of the species. And then we have the source term in the energy balance equation is given in terms of the rates of the reaction and the heat of the reaction and the stoichiometric coefficients. So, this completes the formulation for a kinetics controlled reaction, but if you have more practical cases like combustion, much more complicated, and a simplistic treatment is done where you have a fuel plus oxidant giving rise to products, is a simplistic reaction scheme in which the reaction rate is given sometimes by chemical kinetics alone, sometimes by turbulence alone, or maybe as a combination of the two. So, that is beyond the scope of our course here, and we can say that we can look at a calculation framework which is summarized in this slide for flows with chemical reactions, in which we have a specialized form of the species balance equation, NS minus 1 number of species balance equations, one overall continuity equation, one overall mixture momentum equation, in the three directions, and an overall energy equation with an additional heat source expression coming here from the reaction. So, in the next class, which will be in the form of a tutorial, we will try to write down these things on the board and try to see exactly what these equations are, and then try to put them in a common form, which will then try in the next module to understand how to solve numerically. Thank you.